Okay.
I think the real estate has been taken by your, that's why it's not coming full. Your image is coming on the screen, on the screens here, I think. That's okay, we can go, yeah, we can go ahead and get started.
Nick, you want to start?
Sure. Sure. I'll kick it off. So, I mean, welcome to welcome to the webinar. My name is Nick. I am the founder of House Blend. So what we do here is at House Blend is work with clients that have NetSuite, specifically things like architecture, everything that has NetSuite, everything that connects to NetSuite, architecture services, customizations, um, any enhancements you might need. We typically focus as well on kind of more difficult, architecture problems or more difficult problems to solve in the NetSuite space, optimization of WMS, for example, etc. And so, um, it's nice to be here and meet you all. Can you go to the next slide? So some of the challenges that I see on the market from at least our perspective at House Blend here is specifically for NetSuite clients is that NetSuite is a great tool. It's a great ERP. It's got many strengths, but there are some gaps that need to be filled. For example, the analysis, the capability, the analysis tools that are at our disposition in NetSuite. We've got reports, we've got searches, we've got analytics, we've got SuiteQL, we've got a few tools under our belt, but none of those really give us anything remotely, anything that has an AI kind of component to it, at least not at the moment. We've got NetSuite MCP that came out. Having said that, it doesn't really, connect it doesn't really look at your ecosystem as a whole. It's very specific. So there's not a lot of this analysis kind of, these analysis tools that are available. The other thing is projections, forecasting, trend analysis or trending in general, the ability to generate some of that data from not just NetSuite, but from, across your ecosystem as a whole. I mean, NetSuite is just one piece of the puzzle, right? So it's not going to be able to do that effectively. And so, for example, you've got multiple channels you're connected to, or maybe you've got, you most likely have multiple tools, etc. So being able to draw insights from your entire architecture, not just from NetSuite, is kind of why we partner up with DataGOL, essentially, which is kind of I'll let them speak to it, but it basically bridges some of those gaps and for our customers and enables us to actually, really get the maximum out of NetSuite, like NetSuite data, basically, in conjunction with other sets of data. Again, like specifically things like forecasting, being able to make, informed decisions, very important. And so I'll let the DataGOL guys speak to it, but this is where we see lots of value.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. I mean, you guys are great. You guys really know NetSuite, and we've done some projects with you, and they've gone like really well. So let me kind of tell you a little bit about DataGoal and like what we're about, and kind of where our edges and how we help people with NetSuite. So just going to go into much more detail on all of these, but I wanted to first kind of tell you about like our platform. Where we really excel is being an all-in-one data solution. What that means is we're able to take all your unstructured data, a connection to NetSuite or any other ERP, and other like marketing and really any other data that you have, and combine it all together. We then layer on top of that an agentic and analytics engine and some machine learning which produces predictive intelligence. So what does that mean for you guys and your business? It means that by basically putting all of this stuff together with us, we transform it, we ingest it, we normalize it, and we build a lakehouse. If you want to like think about an analogy of what we are, we're kind of like the snowflakes or Databricks, in so much as we enable you to basically take all your data and put it in one place. But we don't stop there. We layer on top of it an agentic layer with both the ability to do searching, to do RAG, and to have to do Gen AI. We're also build on a custom basis agentic flow for our clients when they want it. But the things that we can offer more or less out of the box are executive insights, which is more or less just analytics or asking questions to customers, financial ops, that's advanced reconciliation that's not available today in NetSuite or other places. And we also offer things like anomaly detection and visual storytelling. What that really means is you guys can take the data, you do the analysis, and then you can build a dashboard. The dashboard can tell the story. Or another example is you get a PDF and you want to automatically link that to your ERP. The PDF has all of your values, your contracts, what you're paying. So rather than having to input that all in to detect anomalies, you can simply input your contracts and make sure that they're being paid correctly. Like that's just one like really quick use case of how we kind of like take unstructured data and really improve the NetSuite experience. But I'm going to hand it over to Jyotish, who's going to kind of go through it in more detail.
Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks, Nick and Jeremy both. So actually, that's okay. You can share your screen. So hello everyone. Welcome again in today's webinar. So my name is Jyotish and I am the VP of Engineering at DataGOL. So today is actually I'm excited to share one of our customers' success stories, how DataGOL help supercharge their the NetSuite workflows with the help of our agentic tools and our DataGOL platform, and that actually increased their efficiency significantly. So obviously they're using NetSuite, but and they use NetSuite for all their customer management transactions and the vendor management for all their the business operation across the board. And they have a lot of data, but so whenever it came to get any real insight from those data, they were hitting the wall. And they were basically like spending countless time and hours trying to pull data out of NetSuite and using some external tool to get the analysis or the answers they were looking for. So today what I want to show, or today what I want to focus actually in this webinar, go through some of these pain points of our customer, and I will demonstrate with some examples how we use DataGOL or how they are using DataGOL to address some of these issues they're facing. So, but before I dive in, I want to do a very, very high level view of the DataGOL platform. So yeah. So I'm not going to dive too deep into the platform, but the one thing to note here is, since NetSuite has a huge amount of data, the storage for all these customers, so get data in and out of NetSuite can be very challenging. So we decided to kind of develop our own plugin for data ingestion, so to get the data out of NetSuite, and abstract all the complexity that usually people customers faces, rate limiting of their APIs or concurrency issues, things like that. And we let our customer focus, get the data out of the NetSuite very consistently and reliably. So here, if you look at our data, the lower, the data layer. So our connector, we use the custom connector to create pipelines and orchestration to get the data to our data lake warehouse. So once the data lands in the data lake warehouse, it kind of goes through multiple layers, like data cataloging layer, data modeling layer, context creation layer. And finally, it becomes available as a golden layer for all our topmost the business layer for consumption for our AI, BI, and workbook. So going back to some of the pain points of our customer, I want to dive into one of the challenges that our customer was facing, which was a lack of tools, like Nick was saying, lack of tools to investigate and do deep dive into their data in NetSuite. So and this is actually very like consistent theme for a lot of our customers that are using NetSuite. So they usually get bogged down by countless hours spending time to get the data in and out of NetSuite and using external tool to find things like missing transactions in the NetSuite, or do some vendor analysis or budget variances. All these kind of things takes them a lot of time to get to the bottom of it. So how we helped, how DataGOL helped. So in this case, actually, our agentic layer, especially our data science agent, became their go-to tools to do this kind of analysis. So I'll just quickly go through one of the examples. Let me share my screen. So how our clients are using these agents to analyze the data in DataGOL platform. So let me go quickly share my screen. So you're looking at the DataGOL platform here. So this is our agent launch area. So I'm not going to go too deep into all the agents in today's webinar, but I actually want to focus on our data science agent, how our customers are using the data science agent to get more insight of their data. I'm going to go through one of the threads. So if you look at it, so this is one of the threads that when customer is probing the data that's coming out of NetSuite. So if you look here, you can see this is a data set of their journal entries, which is, like I was saying, once it gets through the ingestion layer, it goes through all the layers to become the golden layer. So this, if you look at this journal entry data, you can see these are transactions coming out of NetSuite, all the financial accounts, the number of when was the transaction happened, the amount, and this kind of things. So if I'm taking this data set as the data that I want to do our data science agent to work on. So first we can, the thing about this is we can start, if you know your question specifically, you can go ahead and ask. But if you are not sure, if you just simply want to probe the data, you can start at the high level. So for example, here the user is asking, show me the gross margin over last 6 months. So the agent replied asking some clarification. So it's saying that, okay, are these assumptions correct? Meaning okay, I want to look at the revenue in this range of accounts, and I want to look at the cost of goods sold in these range of accounts. Is it the correct assumption? So once it got the clarification from the user, so it kind of gave a plan. So at any point, if you want to look at the internal processing, or how the agent is thinking and doing the the processes behind the scene, you can always look at toggle and look at the internal processing and how the agent is thinking through tools and agent calls or LLM calls on the side panel. So here it's doing the planning and telling you what it's going to do in order to answer the question that you were asking. So it's saying like, okay, you were asking about the gross margin in the last 6 months. I'm going to, and this is a formula I'm going to apply. Total revenue minus the total cost of goods sold. Okay, so the user further confirms, okay, that sounds good. Show me, do the broken down by month and show me in a bar chart. So it goes ahead and do all the analysis. And you can all this time you can actually look here when it gives the answer, the thinking process of the agent. So here it generated some code, Python code that actually was doing analysis on the data set. And it gave a monthly result of all the revenues and the COGS and the gross margin broken down by month. Okay, so it gave some more insights like, okay, what was the formula was used and some additional metrics. For example, it calculated the margin rate. So what formula did it use and what is the insight? And also gave some key numbers like, what was the highest revenue, what was the lowest revenue, and so on and so forth. So the good thing about it is like you can keep drilling down. So it's actually giving the next step, like, what you can ask next. So, okay, so you can actually identify the product lines and the customer segments that are driving the peak in August. So, okay, and it at the same time, it's also giving you some charts that you can visually look into and explore. This is an interactive chart. You can just go and see all the numbers here. So next, okay. Next question the user is asking, okay, so can you tell me the variance of like what's causing the data to kind of like, the margin to go up and down? So it's doing some analysis, but maybe I don't want to go through all these numbers. I can just say like, oh, you know what? Give me the information in a visual way. So what it's doing is now it's taking the same information and it's plotting, it's giving some of these details, and finally it did a plotting of what are the drivers of the gross margin, the revenue and the COGS changes. So here actually you can see the revenue is high in May, but you can see these spikes for COGS, meaning like, this October and the May, their cost of producing the software or the product went actually high. So you probably want to like dig deeper into these spikes. So your next question you can ask, okay, can you actually identify the product lines or the customer segments that driving this variance? So it actually now going and looking into a little bit, drilling down into like more on the granular level. So now it's actually did the analysis and it's saying like, okay, these are actually the product line that's contributing to the increasing gross margin. And these are the top 5 products that's actually reducing the gross margin. So these are the reasons why your gross margin is lower or higher. Similarly with the customer segment, what customer segment is driving your revenue up or keeping your cost of production lower? So similarly, it's also gave you some visuals. So if you actually look at this visual, it actually becomes very clear that customer segment of software house partners. So that's actually driving your cost of production very high. And these are basically the customer segments that are profitable. And so the next recommendation is kind of focus on these sectors what is actually driving this cost higher. So you basically get the point. So you can keep drilling down until the point like the transaction and very, very granular level to pinpoint exactly what insight you are looking for. So the point that I want to emphasize here is so the interesting point is it actually gave our customer an interesting way to actually like, or a new way to like probe into the data, get insight from the data. So this was not open to them before. So they were, instead of manually doing all this analysis and spending all this time, they can just talk to the agent like your personal assistant, but only the difference is actually you can get the answers right away. So they were able to produce like a narrative or a storytelling using their data, and share this, share this the stories or like the narrative with their executives and the stakeholders. So they're actually letting their data speak the tell the story. So moving on to the second pain point. So like Nick was saying, NetSuite is a great tool, but it has some limitations when it comes to real-time reporting and BI. So the thing is, like, oftentimes what was happening is our customers missing some key insights, and like if there's a variance, let's say like in their vendor spending, so they were not finding it out until the end of the month or end of the year, when it's time to close the books. And at the time you have all these variances that you have to find, and it takes like significant effort to go and reconcile all these transactions. And it also has a financial impact. So you let's say like a vendor was overpaid, but you actually don't know that that vendor was overpaid until end of the financial year, and so it's actually costing the company a lot of money. So how did we help? So I'm going to go through the demo, but our advanced dashboarding and the reporting layer actually delivered them like digestible, actionable, and real-time insights that they can actually alert on, they can track, and they can actually like get to the bottom of it when it's actually happening. So let me go over quickly to the demo. So again, this is our example. The journal entry is a transactional data that we are demonstrating in this example. So if we go to our dashboard, So we have a few dashboards here. So let's just for this example, I'm gonna show you some anomalies in the vendor spending. So let's say this is the customer's monthly vendor spending trend. So these are the numbers, which so for example, in the April, they're doing 1.35 million. But what is the difference between the trend line and the actual spending? So you can actually also see the trend line here. So now just looking at this spending, you can right away see that, okay, in September, there is a little spike in the vendor spending. So I want to like dig deeper. What's going on here? So we come into this heat map pivot table to analyze the month of September. So when I'm looking at the month of September of all the vendor spending in different categories, if I'm scrolling down, but by the way, these colors are kind of like showing the difference between the previous month and and this month. So we want to like look at like the like some color variations that will indicate like there's a bigger difference. So here, if I'm looking at it, I can actually see right away that there is a huge difference in digital marketing spending for this vendor. So I want to dig deeper and then see like what caused, or what kind of bill, or like the vendor bill, is causing this spike. So if I right click and say drill down, I can actually see that amount comes with from all these transactions. So out of all these transactions, of course, this transaction of 60,000 is the one that contributing the most. So maybe I want to go and see, okay, what is this transaction? So when I'm going and seeing here, I can see this is the bill from a vendor that was done on September 3rd. Vendor name is Digital Marketing Agency. And then there's a memo here, which actually says that this is actually for a Tech Conference 2025, Platinum sponsorship, booth setup, and promotional material. So in a way, it makes sense. So we exactly know, okay, so why it happened. So there's a traceability why this spike happened. So that actually helped our customer to kind of keep track of this. And all this data is real time. We don't have to wait until the end of the month or end of the financial closing to get these insights. On the top of that, you can actually, let's say here, this is your average line and you want to get notified if actually some point your budget went up a threshold. So you can just go and create a alert, and that will actually alert you if something unusual happens. Then we have these other dashboards. So one of the thing is we allow very easy third-party sharing on our dashboards. So if you have retailers, your partners, or your other vendors, you can easily give them access to this dashboard so that they can just put in their own platform. So last thing I want to mention here. So of course we give our users the complex visualization tool to create these dashboards, but I want to show you a new way of actually creating these widgets and the dashboards in an easier way. For someone like me, who I'm not a BI person, so it'll take me considerable effort to create the visualization that I need to see, or I need to ask help from someone else to create these dashboards for me. But if I use our chart agent, so on this data set, for example, so I can actually ask to create me some charts in a conversational way. If I'm asking, can you do a transaction amount trend analysis by month? So it's actually plotting this trend by month, and this is actually a living dashboard widget. So we can actually pin it to our dashboard right away, or if we want to drill down right here, we have the ability to drill down right here. So next, let's say I want to see, this is for all transactions. So I want to say show me, add a filter to show me only the expenses. And then the agent is understanding and then apply the filter to show only expenses. And now you have a widget, showing all the expenses by month. And I can just go ahead and easily, pin it to a dashboard. And that's kind of available for me so that I can come back to it and look at it later, and it will update with all the real data. So before I close, I want to drive home this point, that we're able to do all these because of the underlying plumbing that we have put together to understand the complete 360-degree view of the customer's organizational data context, so that our agents actually understand the data nuances and the complexities, and can give you very holistic answer of the view of your data. So with that being said, thank you very much for your time, and I hope we'll just do more of these sessions, and I'm excited and looking forward to it.
No, 100%. And we're going to let Nick close it, and then after Nick just says a few closing words, we're going to open up for Q&A.
Yeah.
And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them now. Anyone
Yeah,
has
feel free to
any more
ask
or any
questions.
questions about it?
Yeah.
And if not, if no one has any questions, we'll give you guys a minute or two to think. But we really appreciate you all coming. You can check us out at DataGOL.ai if you want to learn more. And we'll hand it off to Nick to kind of close it up here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I
Yep,
think there
thank
was
you.
a question, Jyotish.
Oh, there was a question?
Yeah, there's a question.
Oh, okay. Wait, let me see.
Oh.
Questions. Oh, one second, this one. How does unstructured data fit into this? Okay, where do I upload? Okay, you know what? I can actually quickly show you here. So let me. Are you able to see my screen on the platform?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so actually we also allow users to upload their documents, any kind of document, PDF, text, CSV, and then actually we automatically do the RAG indexing, and also we do graph extracting all the entities and relationship from those documents. And then actually we allow the chat interface here that you can actually use on your documents. So it does both our traditional RAG, it also does like graph RAG, and it also has the ability to understand the images in your document, or if you have a voice or like a video, it can also understand and answer like questions out of those modalities as well. Does that answer the question?
It does, Jyotish. Thanks. There is a
Awesome.
subsequent question on the webinar chat.
I noticed in your on the platform, can you do it? Yes. Can you do a channel license expense? Yes. Yes. Definitely. Yes. For sure. So how does the system determine the most suitable chart? So we have some logic as well behind the scene, what the agent understands, and most of the time agent understand if it is a trend, so it might be a line chart, or if you're talking about some like bucketized thing, the bar chart might be better. So the agent understand. We have some instructions and the prompts to pick the right visualization for the data or for the analysis. Okay.
Any more questions?
And feel free to send emails and ask questions later if something is not coming to your mind now, but you can definitely ask questions later.
There is one
Yes,
more.
it is.
Yeah, and we're going to send
Yes,
out
it
the deck
is.
to everyone who attended, and it'll have our
It
contact
is.
information for both organizations, both Houseplant and us. So you guys will be able to
Okay.
reach out to us if you have any questions or want to follow up with anything. We really appreciate everyone taking the time to attend.
What?
There is
Jamie,
one last
just one
question.
second. Just one
That was
second.
the last
Oh,
question there.
Our agents are customizable for sales and prospective. Definitely. So our agents, actually, we allow in there to create a custom agent. So the custom agent, you can assign capabilities to these custom agents. For example, capabilities can be you have a knowledge base of a bunch of documents. You have your own MCP server. You have some like tools that you want to like use, web search and all these kind of things. And you want to instruct and prompt the agent to think specifically for in terms of sales and sales and perspective. So we offer some deep agents and custom agents to do this kind of analysis and custom agent creation. We also do offer actually like voice agents, so you can make an agent voice enabled, so it can seamlessly kind of have a conversation with you in speech. Anything else?
well,
Okay,
thanks
thank you
everyone for
everyone.
attending.
Thank you.
We'll follow up with an email that will basically, have all info. We'll have this deck, and feel free to reach out to us if you guys want to learn more about either of our companies. Have a great day.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye.